You've come to the right place if you're looking to create, launch, and scale a high-value online training program. I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I'm the co-founder of LifterLMS, the most powerful learning management system for WordPress. Stay to the end. I've got something special for you. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMScast. My name is Chris Badgett and I'm joined by a special guest and colleague. It's Will Middleton, Customer Success Manager from LifterLMS. Welcome to the show, Will.
Howdy, thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to get into it with you today. This episode is a little different. Will is an awesome person and I love interviewing him about his story and his course creator journey, but we're actually going to be talking about something that we've released is live that you should go check out right now. What's it called, Will?
Oh, it's the LifterLMS Enroll Summit. You can find that on our academy, and we'll dive into some of what is in the Enroll Summit. But yeah, that's what we'll be talking about today. And there's some great content in there for getting your first 10 enrollments. And it really covers the fundamentals of having a successful course creation site. So even if you're above 10 enrollments, there's some great fundamentals in there. But yeah, definitely check that out.
That's awesome. And that is no charge. It's completely free. It's a service we're doing to help the people creating learning programs out there get that initial traction, get that validation so that they can quickly create, sell, and validate an online course. Now let's start at the beginning of the story, Will. We've seen a lot of failure, like in honesty, like in this space, people creating courses or training-based membership sites, or they're trying to bring their in-person training business online for various reasons. We've seen a lot of failure. Tell us about just broad brushstrokes. What kind of failure problems do you see people have when they're trying to kind of get their first enrollments?
Yeah, I think I was just rewatching Melissa Love's training. She's an expert designer. She's in the Enroll Summit talking about building a strong community. And one of the points she said is build your community before you build your course. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this episode have already built their course, have already started building their course. So that's totally fine. But she really emphasizes getting the community as like the first step. So if you're already in the process of making your course and you don't have a Facebook group or a Slack community, wherever your students hang out, creating that community is just so important for having the questions that you're going to be making content off of. One of her quotes that I really love, and I think we'll make an image out of it and post it all over the internet, but it's thinking you know what people want is not the same as knowing what they want. So having that community gives you that validation. And I think a lot of course creators, like first-time course creators, don't start out with the community, and that can lead to creating a product, like building it and no one ends up coming. That's a massive thing I see all the time.
That's awesome. And you and I both have some trainings inside of the summit, but we also leveraged our community, people who are successful with the LifterLMS software and their businesses to contribute to the body of work that's the training. So go to the academy and check that out. It's free, so you'll find it right there. Just go to lifterlms.com, click on learn or somewhere at the top and you'll find the academy. One of the things I think is cool to kind of look at is how we're a little bit different as a company. You're the head of customer success. SaaS, which is SaaS, is like a software company. It stands for software as a service. But in one of our coaching programs that we went into as a company, we learned that SaaS can also mean success as a service. And, we invest heavily in helping customers be successful, feel supported, have the resources, tools, support, community that they need to be successful. Why do you think as a company that it was important for us to kind of get into training in addition to just answering people's tech questions about how to use the tool?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of what you said about success as a service. The software tool itself, like making that purchase alone won't be the item that makes you successful. It's getting your course content structured properly, getting students is what will make you successful. So having the awesome LifterLMS tool to support you along with the strategies you need really makes for the success. And that's ultimately why most people join the LifterLMS communities, because they want to have success with their online course. And they're all at different points along the journey, but this content really focuses on the 0 to 10, which is a large part of our customers in our Facebook group. Many LifterLMS customers are making that 0 to 10 trek. And so having resources out there around marketing, creating a community, instructional design, and some of those questions that can come up when you put together your whole course with LifterLMS and you're like, why don't I have any students? I built my course, I put it out there. This is just some great content about getting students into your course and having that success as a service from Lifter.
Yeah, going from 0 to 1 is like the hardest thing, to actually get a real customer that's not your brother, your mother, your friend, or somebody you know, but like to get a real customer going from 0, that's a huge moment. But then getting to 10, it never gets old getting a new customer, especially if you're selling it and you get a payment notification or whatever. But there's a lot that goes into getting to 10. And I think one of the greatest things about the Enroll Summit content, which is a collection of 10 of the best trainings we have and that we've sourced from our community as well, of like, what are the absolute essential 10 trainings people, if they had, would be way more likely to be successful. But one of the cool things about this complimentary training is that you don't even have to be using LifterLMS to get the value out of it. Maybe you're using a hosted platform or even another tool in WordPress. It's really for the course creator, no matter what tech you're using. Could you give us another example of one of the trainings in there that has nothing to do with having to use LifterLMS?
Yeah, like I give 2 talks in the summit, and they're about the tech, and they have nothing to do with Lifter. We're not screen sharing and doing a Lifter tutorial. It's all about like the mindset of the tech, what you want to consider with different tools, and the mindset behind the tech, and why you choose what you choose for the tech. So there's no like Lifter specific content other than our logo everywhere, because we're the best company for building a customizable LMS. But if you're using any LMS, these tips apply everywhere. And I mean, they do apply broader into just business in general, but any course creation platform, if you're on Kajabi, Udemy, any of the LifterLMS WordPress competitors, this summit applies to you, anyone making an online course or membership.
That's awesome. And we launched this summit training to our existing customers earlier on in the process as we were just kind of rolling it out, but now it's out for everybody. I want to ask you about some of the things you're hearing about what it's like, or what people love the most. What are some highlights people are calling out? And if you haven't yet, open a tab and go to lifterlms.com, open up the Academy, find the Enroll Summit, and go ahead and enroll for free. But keep listening to this episode, because we're going to go over some other cool things. What are some of the gems inside the summit?
Yeah, that's a lot of the feedback is the gems. Like we talk about, like on these podcast episodes, sometimes there's like a golden nugget or just like a piece of wisdom that you write down and put on your wall. And while I was listening to the other speakers we have, other than the talks I gave, of course, but my talks have some tips as well, not to imply they don't, but there's just so many like of those moments where I'm just blown back in my seat with tips. Like I shared one of Melissa Love's quotes there about community before course, and Jenni Jacobs has some awesome stuff as well about how to structure your content. It's like actionable items. That's another big piece of it too, is actionable items. Ziv has like, it's not just about the theory, there's also executable items. Like Ziv talks about putting your lead magnets in your Facebook profile description. Like that's something you can do in 5 minutes. Take your course lead magnet, maybe you have a free course or something like that. You can drop it right in your Facebook profile description. So there's key takeaways and some like blown back in your seat hot tips.
That's awesome. And I'd like to think of a good course creator when they're making a lesson as an example, that they're taking decades and condensing it down into days. So some of these nuggets you're talking about are very hard won ideas, concepts. And it's not, this summit also doesn't just have information. There's actionable worksheets in there to actually take what you learn and put into action. So this isn't just a edutainment video course. You're going to learn some stuff, and then you're going to get some tools that you can immediately use to implement what you just learned. So you can get to those 10 enrollments, which is awesome. What's another hot tip? Is there another hot tip? Or if you want me to, I think I could go through some of the gems of my talk. What else you got?
Yeah, I guess in Melissa's talk, which is the one I rewatched recently, and that's the thing too. You'll probably rewatch the summit and get a whole lot more tips out of it. But she really breaks down the difference between, an Ask Me Anything session, a mastermind session, a co-working session, and live support. Those are all 4 live formats that you can do over Zoom as like a value add to your online course or membership, and a great way to create recurring revenue. But that was a key takeaway too, is, it's not just hopping on a Zoom call. There's different purposes for Zoom calls that you can integrate into different levels of your membership. That was a hot tip as well. And I don't want to give away too much, but Jenni Jacobs in her talk has some somewhat like a controversial statement about how like different learning styles don't totally exist the way we think they do. But Jenni's an amazing instructional designer who's been in the community for decades, like Chris said, and she's condensing some college degree level stuff, and like she's built her business on these foundations, and she's sharing that all condensed within her 2 10-minute tactics.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's just takeaways.
And a couple things I put in the summit, like I contributed some things around sales and marketing. So I've been in online business for over a decade, and sold courses and done a ton of marketing. In many ways, what you're listening to, watching right now is actually a form of marketing. But I give away some of my best, easy to implement, high value things you can do to generate steady leads, and then also to have a way of actually closing a sale that's not pushy, that's structured, it's not stressful to create, that's actually enjoyable to do your sales process, which not all course creators have knowledge or training in sales and marketing. So that's in there too. I want to encourage you listening to go to the LifterLMS website, lifterlms.com, go to the academy, sign up, enroll in the summit, go check it out, go watch it, go rewatch it. And my biggest piece of advice is take action. Like, you can go in there and you can learn and you can just watch, and that's okay. But in every lesson, there's worksheets and action things you can do to implement exactly what you watch. So there's 10 trainings in there. If you were to do 1 training a day and then implement what you see, that means in 2 weeks, while taking the weekends off, you could be well on your way. And maybe some trainings will take a little longer to implement and don't fit perfectly into a day, but you get the idea. If you give the Enroll Summit a solid 2 weeks, in the web world, we call that a sprint. Just give the summit a sprint of effort, a 2-week effort, and I think you'll be blown away at some of the results you're going to get. In customer success land at LifterLMS, people don't just need to, validate and launch and get their first students or customers. They can go further from there, and we recognize it. Tell us about some future training concepts we have for the future of LifterLMS and more summits and trainings and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. I guess if I could share my screen real quick, I'll show you. And if you're watching the video of this episode, you'll see this. But if you're listening to us on iTunes, we'll be talking through it as well. But be sure to check out the video. One thing I was thinking about kind of in customer success land is how people have different challenges at different phases in their online course. So from the 0 to 10 enrollments, I I titled that like the enroll period, which is what this summit is for, getting your first 10 enrollments. There's a lot of beginner specific content in there. But then there's also the journey from 10 to 100. And then I call that momentum. And excuse my handwriting. I'm new with the iPad. Chris has had the iPad for a while and has years of experience with it. And you'll see that in the summit as well. Chris busting on the iPad. But 10 to 100 is where you're getting momentum. And then 100, it's about 100 to 1,000 is scaling. And then 1,000 to 10,000 is pain. So I kind of think of the course creator journey on these 4 levels. And so in this summit, we're really focusing on the first level of enrollment, but we'll be creating more content in the future about going from 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000. And there will be content specific to people making those different parts of the journey in future summits. For example, in the scaling summit, going from 100 to 1,000, a big challenge you're going to face is the company becomes more than you, the founder. So you might want to look at affiliate marketing when you're at that level, where you have distribution partners and you're not the only one doing all the sales and marketing. So that's at that scaling level. So we'll definitely be coming out with some more content in the future around these different levels. And so that's kind of what the future holds for this type of content.
That's awesome. I think that's really one of the big takeaways here is this was not just whipped together really fast. This is really well thought out. And if you've gotten some advice or you're following some people on the internet or to learn various skills you need and whatnot, are you learning the right thing for the right time for what you're trying to do? So if you're still, in that 0 to your early first customers, you need the right training at the right time for that kind of place you are in life and business, which is what I think another thing that makes this so cool. We've been in this industry for so long. We've seen people in different use cases, different stages. The exact same strategy works for this person at this stage, but not this other one. But this person over here thinks they need it because there's other people, they think they should be watching it, but they're at the wrong training at the wrong time. The success training at LifterLMS, you're going to get the right training at the right time without overwhelm, without unnecessary fluff. It's the real deal. So go to LifterLMS.com, find the Academy, find the Enroll Summit. While you're at it, head on over to the LifterLMS reviews on WordPress. So if you just do a Google search, LifterLMS WordPress reviews, you'll find it. Over there, you'll see many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews about LifterLMS. We'd appreciate it if you would drop a review over there, and you'll see, I think in those reviews, kind of the sentiment of people and how they feel supported by this company, not just with software, but with, being supported with questions and, oh, these guys really do care about their customers and whatnot, because we do, and we invest in it, just like putting together and going through all the stuff to make training like this. Any final words for the people, Will, about the summit that you'd like to share?
No, I guess you summed it up perfectly. Head to lifterlms.com, do anything you can to find the summit, and likely the summit will find you too. We'll be promoting the hell out of this forever because this is a great piece of content. So yeah, check out the summit. It's live now, so go find it.
Yeah, well, thanks, Will. And you did a great job spearheading this effort, putting it together. And I've seen you personally, help unlock growth and momentum with LifterLMS customers. So this is a great thing you've led up for not just Lifter customers, but anybody who's trying to create courses at any scale. So thanks for coming on the show, and we'll see you inside the summit. Take care. And that's a wrap for this episode of LMScast. Did you enjoy that episode? Tell your friends and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And I've got a gift for you over at LifterLMS.com/gift. Go to LifterLMS.com/gift. Keep learning, keep taking action, and I'll see you in the next episode.